This full moon in Cancer reminds us that sometimes in order to grow, we need to break out of our old shell. Hi, I'm Megan, and if you're excited to see what this full moon in Cancer has in store for you, please subscribe and let's get straight into the video. This upcoming full moon in the water sign of Cancer is going to be occurring on Tuesday, December 26th at 7:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will feel this full moon's energy about 72 hours on either side of the full moon. Why the full moon? Full moons are the energetic peak of the lunar cycle. The lunar cycle begins with the new moon, culminates in the full moon, and then goes back down to the new moon. Rinse and repeat. This cycle lasts about 28 to 29 days. Full moons are a very energetically powerful time. The moon is literally bright in the sky, giving us light and energy and motivation to do things in our lives. So by working with the energy of the new and full moons, we can amplify things that we're already planning on doing and using that lunar cycle to our benefit. So in short, that's why you should be manifesting with the new and full moons if you're not already. Every full moon occurs in a different astrological sign that gives it a bit of context and texture in addition to that energetic peak energy. This full moon is in the water sign of Cancer. Cancer is a cardinal water sign, so it is a beginning in respect to water or emotions, emotional beginnings, and its glyph is the crab. Cancer is ruled by the moon, making this full moon especially emotionally intense and powerful. If you're somewhere where Christmas is celebrated, this full moon is occurring the day after Christmas, and this is a wonderful energy to attend any family or home events, as Cancer does rule the fourth house of home and family. The energy of Cancer is very feminine, very motherly. I like to describe Cancers as being both mommy and baby. If you know any Cancers, you know what I mean. They're very maternal, but also very soft on the inside. Full moons grant us an opportunity to do shadow work as the full moon is at its brightest in the sky and then slowly releases back down in shadow to the new moon. The shadow self are parts of the self that you might want to repress or wounds that maybe you haven't healed. So every full moon, try looking at the low vibrations of the sign the moon is in and seeing how you're aligning with them. If you do this throughout the year, you will release your shadows in a very balanced way if you go through all 12 zodiac signs like this. So on the high side, Cancer energy is very intuitive, emotional, all of those good, watery positives. But on the low side, in counterpoint, sometimes Cancer energy can become emotionally imbalanced. This might be because you're suppressing your emotions or expressing them in inappropriate ways. I'm sure we've all seen someone maybe trauma dump their entire life story in the grocery line, or maybe someone bursts into tears in a very inappropriate situation, or maybe someone doesn't want to share their emotions and it comes out in a very passive aggressive way. Those are all things to look out for that are in that low vibration of Cancer. So make note where those are coming in your life, how you're expressing your emotions. Is it appropriate? Is it not? And fine tune your life that way. I also recommend, as Cancer rules that fourth house of family and home, look to see what's in your fourth house and see what sign that is, and then see if you're aligning with the higher or lower vibration of that sign. So that's two things to work on, and I'll give you an example. I have Aries in my fourth house, and I can be very flighty and kind of aggressive when it comes to home and family. Like, I don't really want to settle down, and I want things to be very much my particular way, and no one's perfect, right? These are just things that we can make a note to work on when we see them come up in our lives. Mercury is retrograde this full moon, and while it may get a bad reputation, retrogrades invite you to spin backwards and spin inwards. So as far as processing emotion goes, this Mercury retrograde is actually a very, very good aspect to have, in my opinion, in the sky as far as processing emotions, thinking back on old stories maybe we've told ourselves, maybe emotions that we are holding on to. This is a good full moon to think about those and then think, are these serving me? Can I release them? Are there maybe emotions that I should be holding on to more? And that is the key word for this full moon: emotions, 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 emotions. Cancer is such a watery sign, which is both good and bad. Like I mentioned before, Cancer can be kind of a passive aggressive energy. And when you think about it, Cancer's the crab. Crabs can't move forwards and backwards, right? They can only move from side to side. Think about that when you're processing this emotional Cancer energy, and try not to get too testy with those around you, as I believe Mars is in Sagittarius, which can be a little bit of an aggressive aspect. So just try to stay out of any family conflicts. If you're going to maybe a Christmas dinner, just keep your mouth shut, let things roll off of you. Before we get into more rituals, I did a full complete guide on the full moon in Cancer last year. This is just an update. So if you want yoga, crystals, journaling prompts, go check out that video, but I would just be retelling you the same journaling prompts if I put them in this video anyway. So just go check that out for even more information. Let's talk about some rituals for this full moon. And these rituals you can do a few days on either side of the full moon. It's great, especially if you have time off for the holidays. So number one, as Cancer rules that fourth house, do a little bit of nesting and finish up projects around your home. I'm sure most of us have a half-painted room or a floor that needs to go down, a blind that's broken, something that is in their house that they're working on that they need to fix that is kind of cluttering up that to-do list. Go ahead and take care of that. This is a good example of how full moon rituals aren't necessarily all light a candle, do some journaling, woo, yada yada, which is great, but it's not necessarily productive, right? And as this full moon is in Capricorn season, side note, all full moons occur in opposition of the sun season. So as Cancer and Capricorn are opposition signs, all full moons in Capricorn will be in the sign of Cancer. Capricorn is very cardinal earth. Let's get it going. Let's get this project started, get it done kind of energy. So translate that to this full moon and actually get some productive stuff done that you have been putting off. Another ritual for this full moon is to take a moon bath. So go outside, weather permitting, and sit outside under the moon, somewhere the moon can touch your skin, and just sit there and meditate and really soak in that powerful light and powerful energy of the moon. You can journal if you want, but I like to just meditate when I do this. It's fun, and if it's chilly where you are, it's very cozy to get all bundled up and sit outside under the light of the moon. There's something just very natural and instinctual about it. Another ritual for this full moon, as Cancer may have the tendency to be a little bit escapist from emotions, is to take a full day and do an escapism-free day. And for this day, I want you to be 100% stone cold sober. So no coffee, no wine, nothing that can affect your mind and therefore your emotional body. And I want you to not do anything that you tend to do as far as escapism goes. So is that watching the same comfort shows? Is that scrolling through social media? Whatever that is, take one full day off, a full 24 hours off. And this can be a little bit painful. The day might really drag on, but it's only one day. You got it, and you might realize some truths from it. A journaling exercise for this full moon. Again, I have more journaling prompts in my video last year. I will link that, so go check that out for like 10 or so actual journal prompts. But for this journaling exercise, I want you to write a bunch of I feel statements. Maybe do it for a couple pages and just write I feel blank. And go, 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 go. And it might be shocking what emotions come out. And then you can take a look through that list of paper. Oh, there's a squirrel. And then you can take a look through that list and see, are any of these productive? Is there a lot of guilt and shame on there for some reason that I can let go? But if you don't know what emotions you're feeling, how can you process them, right? So if you let your mind open up and write some I feel statements, that will really help you process this full moon in Cancer. I hope you enjoyed this guide for the full moon in Cancer. Some themes around this full moon are going to be processing emotions and then how you can break out of your old shell to become something even newer and better. Let me know in the comments below what placements you have in Cancer, if you have any planets, what house is it in. I have my Mars in Cancer, which is not the best placement to have, but it is what it is. I can be very passive aggressive sometimes, sorry. But you work with what you got. So let me know in the comments below what you got going on in Cancer. I would love to know. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.